I hope you all have your atomic umbrellas because nuclear bombs are dropping left and right, and that means one thing and one thing only: dirty deep state devastation. Michael Flynn is pardoned. Republicans hold a hearing in Pennsylvania, and Biden whimpers into Thanksgiving with no one there to listen. All that and more today on Revved Up, but first.
Every time who I am, well, how damn, I'm a man. 6 shooters in both my hands. I'm a cold-blooded brother, a real bad mother. Watch out, honey, here I am.
Welcome back to Revved Up, and I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving with as many family members as you wanted to be with, because fuck all of these lockdowns from these Commiecrat governors. By the way, I think that's my new term for Democrats, is Commiecrats. And also, the other day I was asking about what do we think the best term is for this mixture of fascist communists, and I think fashcoms is going to be the one I'm going to go with. So all of these fashcoms and Commiecrats out there telling you that you can't hang out with your family, well, they can get fucked, and I hope you guys all had a good time and saw as many family members as you wanted to see. Now, I was actually trying to record this video the day before Thanksgiving. I ended up caught up in a bunch of phone calls with old friends and that kind of thing. Ended up getting way too late, and then I spent all day yesterday with family because Thanksgiving, and I am not going to spend it alone. So, anyways, without further ado, the first story of today is Michael Flynn is pardoned. And we have been waiting a long time for this. And so we have this tweet here from Melissa Tate, Stop the Steal. An American hero walks free tonight. God bless him and his family. And this meme is awesome. Yes. He's done. We got Donald Trump there. I can't recognize all the faces. Let's see who all we can see here. So we've got Brad Parscale. We've definitely got Don Jr., Eric Trump. Kanye West is in there. I can't recognize all the faces. So down in the comment section, let me know what other faces you guys recognize there. But what a great meme, and what great news, because Michael Flynn has been the most wrongfully persecuted patriot that I have ever seen in my lifetime. And let's go on to Breitbart News, because they talk about Trump pardons Michael Flynn. And President Donald Trump pardoned his former National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, on Wednesday. And he tweeted, "It is my great honor to announce that General Michael T. Flynn has been granted a full pardon. Congratulations to General Flynn and his wonderful family. I know you will now have a truly fantastic Thanksgiving." Yes! Gotta love Donald Trump. Gotta love Donald Trump. A Thanksgiving gift to somebody who has been a Trump loyalist from the beginning, and that is General Michael Flynn. So, of course, we all know that Flynn pleaded guilty in December 2017 to lying to the FBI. He later withdrew his plea as exculpatory evidence emerged. Flynn served in the U.S. Army for 3 decades. He also served as director of the Defense Intelligence Agency under Barack Obama. And that is where all of his troubles began. And we'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. However, he felt Obama was not pursuing terrorists aggressively enough. He was eventually fired. I think that's probably a polite way of saying that he was not happy with the fact that Obama and his administration were actually funding and allowing the terrorism to take root in the Middle East. And they were opening up all of these power vacuums in Syria and Libya and all of these other places so that ISIS could grow. And they gave weapons to ISIS, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe they were actually funding them and giving them weaponry and training them. So he saw an opportunity to advocate for his point of views in Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. A crowd favorite, Michael Flynn was the warm-up speaker for Trump on the campaign trail. When Trump won, he named Flynn his national security advisor. Flynn spent the transition planning an overhaul of national security strategy, and his work continues to shape Trump's policies. In fact, I believe that he was the one that started the whole "lock her up" chant at Trump's 2016 campaign rally. So we can credit Michael Flynn for that. So the defeated campaign of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton claimed that Russian interference had cost her the election. Of course, because she couldn't just admit flat out that America fucking hates Hillary Clinton. That she's a goddamn power whore, and that she is just the most vile, evil, disgusting person. Well, I guess one of them. You know, Joe Biden's giving her a run for her money now that we're finding out more about everything that Joe Biden's been involved in. But Hillary Clinton is a piece of shit, and that's why she lost. So senior Obama administration officials also told the media that they believe Trump had colluded with Russia. They identified Flynn as a potential link to Russian President Vladimir Putin and warned Trump's transition team about him. In fact, Obama outright told him, do not hire Flynn. And we all know that the reason that happened was because Flynn knew where all the bodies were buried in the Obama, Clapper, Brennan intelligence swamp. He knew all the dirty deeds that they were up to. He knew everything. He had all the dirt on them. And they knew that Trump was going to go in there and try to take them down, and Michael Flynn would be there at his side every step of the way, giving him the information, giving him the details, telling him where to look, and that they would have all been arrested. That is what this entire past 4 years has all been about. This is the entire reason that they sprung the entire Russian collusion narrative, which was funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign. It was an idea that one of her staffers came up with, and she signed off on. She signed off on it, and then they funded that bogus Steele dossier, and they created this entire fake narrative about Russian collusion that never happened. They got the media to run with it because the media are all just a propaganda wing for the Commiecrats at this point. And it's just the entire thing was a fraud. And you still have people today that talk about Donald Trump as being Putin's puppet. It's because you bought into a goddamn lie. You bought into a damn lie. And of course, we see all of these same Commiecrats are out here gnashing their teeth. Democrats, led by Adam Schiff, have a meltdown over Flynn pardon. Of course, Adam Schiff is going to freak out. He is one of the dirtiest players in all of Congress. And unfortunately, he is my representative. And I would rather be represented by, I don't know, a toad at this point. A toad. I would rather be, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with fucked up examples. Yeah, that's the problem with me trying to come up with things off the top of my head when I'm doing YouTube videos, is because most of the things that I'm great at coming up with like punchlines and stuff off the top of my head, but they're usually things that get me banned on YouTube because YouTube has absolute bullshit speech codes. And so it really stifles my ability to come up with things, clever sayings in these videos, because I usually have them swimming around my head, and then there's always that voice that, nope, that one will get you banned. Nope, that one will get you banned. So I always gotta watch myself, and in return, you guys get a very watered down version of Revved Up with Ram Thorburn. So hopefully we'll fix Section 230 so I can come back swinging. Saying every little thought that comes into my mind later. But Democrats, led by Adam Schiff, erupted in anger Wednesday afternoon after President Trump pardoned his former national security advisor, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, bringing an end to Flynn's nearly 4-year-long ordeal of being targeted and prosecuted by the Obama-led deep state for a crime he didn't commit. Absolutely. He was a political hit job. Everything about Michael Flynn's situation reeked of character assassination by means of political expedience. And so Adam Schiff said, Donald Trump has repeatedly abused the pardon power to reward his friends and protect those who covered up for him. This time he pardons Michael Flynn, who lied to hide his dealings with the Russians. It's no surprise that Trump could go out as he came in, crooked to the end. Now, of course, we all know that Trump isn't going anywhere, because we're going to get to more on that in a little bit. But all of this teeth gnashing from all these Democrats about the release of, or the pardoning of Michael Flynn, you know that each and every one of these has a California mudslide in their pants right now. They are shitting bricks because they know that, because the key is the gag order is now lifted off of Michael Flynn. This entire time, Michael Flynn has not been able to talk to the public because he's had a gag order on him. Well, now he's going to be able to come out and not only talk about how they railroaded him and all the illegal, shisty things that they did to take him out, he's going to be able to talk about all of the things that he saw when he was working as, when he was working for the Obama administration, when he was the director of wasn't director of national intelligence. What was it? The DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. Yeah, he was the director of he was their DIA director. And so he knows where all the dirt is. He knows where everything is. And apparently he came in under the Obama administration and he saw all kinds of fucked up things going on with the army and what they were doing there. And he was trying to clean everything up. And he was trying to set things orderly so that we knew why we were in certain places, that command structures were in line, communication was all work. He went in there with like brilliant new ideas to streamline our entire military structure. And what did he get for it? He got character assassination for it, because it is through all the mud that they operate through that they are able to run all of their dirty deals, all their dirty deeds. So, you know, this time he pardons Michael Flynn, who lied to hide his dealings with the Russians. He had no dealings with the Russians. He did what any other incoming national security advisor would do in a transition team, and he started making phone calls to different ambassadors. And so he made a phone call to Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak, and the FBI even said that they don't think he lied to him about it. And we even have Comey on video talking about how he wouldn't normally have sent investigators in there, but, you know, since it was Donald Trump, he said, I'll just send them in and see if they catch on. So it was shifty in and of itself that Comey sent in FBI investigators to even talk to Michael Flynn. And the investigators, we saw Bill Priestap's notes. They asked, what is the purpose of this meeting? To get him to lie or to get him fired? Since when has it been in the purview of the FBI to get an incoming transition member fired? So it was spelled out as a political hit job from the beginning. These people know this. Adam Schiff knows this, but he is lying. He is screeching and squealing because he knows he is going to get outed when all of this stuff, if all of their attacks against Trump and the Trump team end up getting washed away, they know that all eyes are going to be turned on him and that he is going to be naked in front of the world for what he has done. And he is going to spend the rest of his life in Gitmo. And so we're not going to read this whole statement on Flynn, but Ted Lieu, another Commiecrat. This is a super Commiecrat from here in California. Michael Flynn committed a felony, but since he is a friend of real Donald Trump, he gets special treatment no ordinary person gets, like a pardon. What do you think pardons are used for? And you think Obama never pardoned any of his friends? Obama pardoned more people than anybody else. I think he pardoned like somewhere around like 1,300 people, and Donald Trump has pardoned somewhere like 100 or so. I don't have the exact stats pulled up, but I remember there being a massive difference between the pardoning of Obama and the pardoning that Donald Trump has done. So he says this is the kind of behavior that caused voters to fire POTUS because Trump repeatedly put himself and his elite friends over America. Whoa! 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 So first of all, the voters did not fire Donald Trump. Donald Trump won this election in a goddamn landslide, and y'all cheated, and all of that is coming out right now. All of that is coming out. So I'm just going to sit here and just smile and wait for my chance to rub that sand in your eyes. And what are you talking about? Trump repeatedly put himself and his elite friends over America? The Commiecrats are the party of the elite. Donald Trump has no elite friends anymore. All of the elite friends turned on him when he went against the establishment. What the hell? But this is how the Commiecrats operate, because they're all Alinskyites. They operate through projection. Anything that they are or they are doing, they project onto their political opponents. And then they use that to weaponize and take them down. They weaponize their own deeds and blame it on their opposition. It is some of the dirtiest, most fraudulent ways that you can operate. But of course, as Vladimir Lenin said, there are no morals in politics, only expedience. A scoundrel may be of use to us simply because he is a scoundrel. Well, all of these Commiecrats are scoundrels, and they use each other. They use each other for political expedience because they have no morals whatsoever. All they seek is power. Power, power, power. And I can't wait until Trump and all of his team strips every ounce of power away from him. Then they're going to be fighting for power in prison to see who doesn't get pig-fucked until they're squealing while they're rotting behind bars. Cannot wait for it. So Jerry Nadler says, the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, this Oompa Loompa motherfucker, issued the following statement. Statement on President Trump's pardon of Michael Flynn. This pardon is undeserved, unprincipled, and one more stain on President Trump's rapidly diminishing legacy. Are you kidding me? Rapidly diminishing legacy? Have you not seen how the American people have stood up for Donald Trump? He has a motherfucking army at his feet, and they are ready to go to war for him. I'm here ready to go to war for him. Actually, I already am at war for him. You just tell me when to pick up and hit the streets, and I'm out there, Don. I am out there. Right now, I'm keeping it here. Right now, I'm keeping it here on the internets, because at this point, we don't want it. We don't want the heat. We don't want to bring that heat to these people. We want all that heat to come legally. But you let me know when I'm ready to go. So Michael Flynn was fired from the White House for lying to senior officials. No, in fact, the FBI even said that he didn't lie to them, and the FBI shouldn't have even been there because they didn't go through proper channels to even speak to Michael Flynn. So he pleaded guilty twice to lying to federal investigators about his communications with foreign adversary. He pleaded guilty because they threatened to go after his son. They threatened to go after his family. What he did was he fell on a grenade because he is an honorable human being. He is an honorable man. So Flynn's agreement to cooperate with the government in exchange for those guilty pleas seemed light to some, given reports that they're just trying to heighten it as much. Seemed light. You are framing the man. That Flynn and his son had engaged in far more disturbing criminal activity. You want to detail that for us? Because I haven't heard word one about that. That just seems like you pulling words out of your ass and throwing them onto the screen. So it is important to talk about why the president pardoned Flynn. President Trump dangled this pardon to encourage Flynn to backtrack on his pledge to cooperate with federal investigators. Cooperation that might have exposed the president's own wrongdoing. Bull fucking shit. There is no goddamn way that Michael Flynn was going to be turning on Donald Trump to help out the same damn dirty deep staters that he was looking to take down and that were simultaneously trying to take him down. No fucking way. No fucking way. I'm not buying that for a rusty red penny. Not for a rusty red penny. So he says, and it worked. Flynn broke his deal, recanted his plea, received the backing of the Attorney General over the objections of career prosecutors, aka deep state prosecutors. You know, we all know that career politicians essentially means deep state members at this point, and has now secured a pardon from the president. So he recanted his plea because the FBI was withholding exculpatory evidence from him. They were withholding evidence that proved that he shouldn't have been persecuted in the first place, and yet they were still persecuting him, or prosecuting. And persecuting. Really, this one is persecuting. Persecuting fits better here. And so he received the backing from the Attorney General because when that new information came out that showed that he was not guilty of anything, there was no prosecutor left. They dropped the charges, and then Judge Emmett Sullivan would not let it go. There was nobody prosecuting him, and or was it Jim Sullivan? Ed Sullivan? No, Jim Sullivan. Fuck. I don't know. Anyways, Emmett Sullivan. Sorry, Emmett Sullivan. all these names. So Judge Emmett Sullivan was holding this up, keeping it all hamstrung. And we know that dude had marching orders. We know that Sullivan had marching orders because they knew that the minute that his case got officially dropped, that would mean the gag order was dropped and Flynn would be able to talk. And they did not want that happening before the election. And well, they succeeded in that, which honestly, I think Trump should have pardoned Flynn earlier. Fuck the optics. Get him out there. Get Flynn talking. Whatever blowback from the optics of pardoning Michael Flynn most likely would have been negated once Michael Flynn started talking and letting people know what he knew. So I think that was a mistake on Trump's part. I think he should have pardoned him a long time ago. I think the second that Judge Sullivan did not drop the case after the DOJ dropped the case, that's when he should have been pardoned. He should have said, all right, no, this political railroading will not go on any longer. Michael Flynn is free to go. So he says that the pardon is part of a pattern We saw it before in the Roger Stone case. Another man who was railroaded. They were going to try to give him 9 years in prison for making a false statement to the FBI, which is, I think, something that he just didn't remember correctly. 9 years in prison? Another political railroading, where President Trump granted clemency to protect an individual who might have implicated the president in misconduct. Yeah, right. Roger Stone was not going to flip on Trump. And plus, I don't think there's anything to flip on Trump for. They want to get them on these technicalities. They want to set up these traps that they can get them in, perjury traps and all different kinds of things. That's what they got Roger Stone on. That's what they got Michael Flynn on. They're all just perjury traps. They weren't actually investigating a crime. They were investigating no crime and trying to find something. They were trying to invent a crime, which is not the job of the FBI, to invent crimes to charge your political opponents with. These people are straight up dirty. And these people... You can tell by all of the screeching and squealing and teeth gnashing from all of these Commiecrats. They know what's coming. They know what's coming, and they are goddamn terrified. Terrified. So Representative Don Bayer, pardoning Michael Flynn, who lied to the FBI and pled guilty, is an act of extreme corruption. How about when he didn't lie to the FBI and they made him plead guilty in order to not have his son arrested? Is that not extreme corruption? I think that's extremely extreme corruption. Excuse me. That we expect such underhanded behavior from Donald Trump, the most corrupt president in our history, makes it no less wrong. Donald Trump is crooked. Bullshit. Obama is clearly the most corrupt president we have ever had in this nation. And, of course, you're never going to get Commiecrat Don Breyer to say that. So Senator Ed Markey, Michael Flynn is a criminal. Roger Stone is a criminal. Donald Trump is a criminal. None of them deserve to be pardoned. Yes, they all deserve to be pardoned because they were gone after by criminals in these three-letter agencies. I'm so revved up I can't even talk right now. God damn. God damn. But that's not the only big win that we have on Team Trump right now. So a couple days ago, they held a hearing in Pennsylvania. It wasn't official. They held it at the Wyndham Hotel, but they wanted to get the information out. They wanted to get people, some of the poll watchers from the GOP. And I'm going to tell you right now, this was not just Susan down the block who wanted to come watch the polls. They had some serious people that were signed up to be poll watchers in Pennsylvania that testified at this thing. And I think the brilliant part of this was that they got all of this with cameras rolling so that when this stuff goes to the judges, you know, these judges love to act like they're upholding the Constitution when all the cameras on them, and then they go behind, you know, then when nobody's looking, they're absolute Commiecrats. They're absolute Commiecrats. But now with all of this information up front, with everybody seeing this information, they're not going to be able to rule against it. Because they're not going to be able to shut it out, because they're going to go, the Republicans, the Trump team is going to go into court with all of this information being public knowledge. And if they backtrack on it, if the judges end up dismissing it, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, it's going to expose them for exactly what they are, activist judges. And so we've got this first person here. I'm at the wrong one. So, of the 600K votes added during curious spikes in Pennsylvania, how many went to Biden? And we have this clip here.
You would expect to see a smooth curve going up, not any big spikes. That's kind of what Greg was talking about, the anomalies of loading and uploading those votes. So that big spike that occurs there is a prime indicator of fraudulent voting.
And that's 604,000 votes in 90 minutes, is that right?
Correct. This is 337 votes, 337,000 votes in that
period of time.
Yes.
And when you look at this entire curve with all these spikes, can you calculate how much of a vote that accounted for Biden and how much for Trump?
Close to 600,000. I think our figures were about 570 some odd thousand that all those spikes represent over time.
For Biden?
Correct.
And how much for Trump?
I think it was a little over 3,200.
Wow.
Now, just to go back to your original.
Normally,
Now, who in their right mind would believe that 570,000 in a stack of ballots, 570,000 go to Biden and only 3,200 go to Trump? That is not a statistical anomaly. That is not a statistical improbability. That is outright fraud and a statistical impossibility. There's no way in hell. That would mean that like 99.5% of those votes went to Joe Biden. There's no fucking way that's real. There's no fucking way that's legitimate. And anybody with two brain cells to rub together can know that that is outright fraud. You don't need to read into that anymore. There's no, well, maybe, I guess it could happen. I mean, it would be a chance of about 1 in a zillion, but that 1 in a zillion can still happen. Bull fucking shit, it can. No, that is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And we had this other guy. Now, this guy was the real deal, Holyfield, right here. So, breaking video, mind-blowing testimony from data scientist in Pennsylvania claiming 47 USB cards missing. And that's among many other. So, this guy's name is Gregory Strinstrom. Stenstrom or Strinstrom? I'm not that's hard to say, Strinstrom. But when I said that these people are legitimate, they can actually know what they're talking about. It's not just some soccer mom who wanted to come watch the polls because, yeah, I just want Donald Trump to win. My husband loves Donald Trump, whatever. No, these are serious people. And he's from Delaware County. He's a former commanding officer in the Navy, a veteran of foreign wars, and CEO of his own private data company, a data scientist and forensic computer scientist, and an expert in security and fraud. Yeah. Y'all done fucked around. And now you're dealing with some serious people who are going to expose the bullshit election you pulled. So we got a bunch of videos to watch here. It's going to take a little bit of time to get through it, but bear with me here. So the first one from Gregory Strinstrom.
My name is Gregory Stenstrom. I'm from Delaware County. I'm a father, a family man. I was a former commanding officer and executive officer in the Navy. I'm a veteran of foreign wars. I'm the CEO of my own private company. I'm a data scientist. I'm a forensic computer scientist. I'm an expert in security and fraud. And we were told, I was told the next day by the solicitors, well, actually not the solicitor, but the attorney that we had secured, that they said every election they leave a couple of USBs in the voting machines and they're brought back, and generally the warehouse manager comes over and puts them in. So in talking to the U.S. Attorney General McSwain and other law enforcement officers, I found out that was not the case, that generally, more than two is unusual. So they denied they did it, but as of today, 47 USB cards are missing, and they're nowhere to be found. So I was told personally that these 24 to 30 cards that were uploaded weren't there. Those cards, I demanded that they didn't update the vote live time. They only updated it about once every 2 or 3 hours. I demanded they uploaded the vote so I could see what the result was, and it was 50,000 votes. And I think as a computer scientist, an American, and a patriot, it doesn't matter who those 50,000 votes were. I'll tell you they were for Vice President Biden. But what was shocking to me as an American, as someone who has gone to sea, gone to war, that that could even happen.
47 missing USB cards. 47. That doesn't sound accidental to me. Maybe I'm not very charitable to the Commiecrats. They've given me no reason to be, but that seems extremely dirty. And so here we have this next one from. We got probably like 6 or 7 of these, so.
What we saw there, what I saw there, was a chain of custody in all cases that was broken. It was broken for the mail-in ballots, the Dropbox ballots, the Election Day USB card flash drives. In all cases, the chain of custody and the procedures that were defined by the Delaware County Board of Elections and Election Process Review were all, they didn't follow one. I couldn't even redline this multi-page document because the entire document would be, they didn't follow any of the procedures.
So, And this is an argument that we were making about the mail-in ballots from day one. There is no chain of custody with the mail-in ballots. You never know how they could be tampered with, how they're going to be distributed. It's just a free-for-all of ballots. There's no orderly way to figure out that system. And that was the entire purpose of the Democrats doing that, so that they could create this, I don't even know, there's all kinds of different theories about whether they were intending to be able to overcome it with fake ballots through the mail-in balloting process, whether they were just going to create all kinds of confusion that they were then going to be able to undermine faith in the election so that they could undermine a second Donald Trump presidency. It's looking more and more like it was so that they would be able to manufacture as many fake ballots as they needed. But we're going to find out the problem is that Trump won in such a landslide that there were more ballots counted. I think Rudy Giuliani said that in one of these, there was 1.7 million mail-in ballots sent out, yet they counted 2.5 million. Trump won in such a landslide that they could not even manufacture enough ballots with the math still adding up. So they're completely fucked. So the next one here.
So I personally observed USB V cards being uploaded to the voting machines by the voting machine warehouse supervisor on multiple occasions. I saw this personally. I brought it to the attention of the deputy sheriff who was there stationed, who was a senior law enforcement officer, and I brought it to the attention of the clerk of elections. I brought it to their attention. I objected, and I said, this person is not being observed. He's not part of the process that I can see. And he's walking in with baggies, which we have pictures of, and it was submitted in our affidavits, and he was sticking these USBs into the machines. So I personally witnessed that happened 24 times, over 24 times. We have multiple other witnesses that saw it, including Democrat poll watchers.
So these people were just coming in with baggies of USBs, not really knowing where they came from, not being observed, not really having any idea whether those were legitimate votes that were being uploaded into the system. Now we have the next one.
On Thursday, it took us 3 days for them to obey the court order that I secured with Leah's help and the help of the Thomas More Society, who we thank incredibly good patriots. They got us in there. They got the order for us to get in and watch it, look at the back offices, which were locked, for 5 minutes every 2 hours. I went in. I was the first one allowed to go in at 1:30 on Thursday, and then again at 3:30 for 5 minutes. The county solicitor had a stopwatch. On the first time, I was not allowed to touch anything. The second time, I did. What I observed in the locked room in the back office was 70,000 unopened mail-in ballots. They were in boxes of 500, stacked in neatly. The gentleman that came in with me was a Democrat poll watcher, is a forensic pathologist, a very detailed, very dedicated man, and he took meticulous notes as well. And I verified with him, are you seeing what I'm seeing? We both agreed as GOP poll watchers and a Democrat poll watcher that we had witnessed 60 to 70,000. We had a little bit of a disagreement there. The problem with that was by that time, the mail-in ballots had already been counted. So 120,000 mail-in ballots had already been counted, posted, and done. So my question is, where did the 70,000 ballots go? And nobody knows.
Of course they don't, because nobody knows anything that they were doing, because that was their entire goal, was to create an entire cloud so that nobody understood the process, nobody understood what was going on, and they just expected that people would be so confused they would just not think anything of it. Well, fortunately, the GOP had some serious people that were there watching, and they were willing to raise the questions and then pursue them afterwards. So, on to the next one.
When we finally got into the back room where the votes were being ingested, as a data scientist, I want to see where the data is coming in. And I wanted to know the universe of the votes. Well, the universe of the votes was only supposed to be 120,000 mail-in ballots. We were told there were 6,000 ballots remaining. So I said, okay, we have a universe of 126,000 votes. And then when I get back there, the universe wasn't 126,000 votes. The universe was 200,000 votes. So that's a problem.
Yes, that is a problem. Yes, that is a problem. But they probably just slid in a bunch of fake ballots and stole the election. Stole the election. So then on the next one.
A couple of other things is the Blue Crest sorter machine was only manned by one person. You know, people ask me all the time, how do people commit crimes? I know there's a lot of theories here, and I always look for the simplest thing. People that stuff, you know, sticking USB sticks in, putting ballots in. Very simple thing. Only takes a couple of people. Doesn't take a big conspiracy. I think people look at things and they use inflammatory words and, you know, like fraud and so forth. As a forensic computer scientist, my interest is in the data. Where did it go? Where did the spoilage go? How did the data come in and go out of the system? So I think as a scientist, we need to look at that. We need to audit that.
It may not take a big conspiracy, but I think the fact that this happened in every swing state where Donald Trump, we know he won, and then middle of the night flipped to Biden, we all know that it was a big conspiracy. We all know exactly what happened. They stole the election.
What was really upsetting to me, and the most upsetting, was I had spoke to multiple law enforcement agencies and literally begged multiple law enforcement agencies. I said, go in, and I said, in order to prove, prove that nothing's happening, you either exonerate yourselves in the process or refute what I'm saying, please. It's a very simple process. Just go get the forensic evidence from the computers. It's a simple process. You turn the computer off. It's non-destructive. Takes moments, maybe half an hour, 20 minutes to do it properly and collect the evidence. You open the computer up. You take a device called a bit blocker. You put it in the hard drive. It's done under the observation of law enforcement officers. They take a forensic image of the drive, put it all back together. It wouldn't have taken more than an hour to image all 5 machines. That was never done, despite my objections, and that was 3 weeks ago.
So what he's saying is that he wanted to take a forensic imaging of the drives on these machines so that they could track and do an audit and make sure that there was no foul play, and they wouldn't let him do it. They masked the entire thing. They hid everything behind a veil of secrecy. And the fact that our election was held behind this veil of secrecy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if 0 votes were changed. The fact that they've hidden this entire thing behind a veil of secrecy means that it is not legitimate. It's not legitimate. If we can't know what was going on with the election of our own president, then we can't count it as a legitimate election. Absolutely not. But we all know, of course, that there were millions upon millions of votes that were changed and altered or thrown away or burned, or the countless. I mean, they put on like a prison school lesson on how to rig elections this time. They rigged this election. They attacked this election from so many different angles. It's absolutely dizzying. Absolutely dizzying.
Lastly, when they said, well, we've got all the forensic records and so forth. We just learned 2 days ago that virtually all chain of custody logs, records, yellow sheets, everything was gone. All forensic evidence, all custody sheets in Delaware County are gone. They had a signing party where they sat down, and poll workers were invited back to recreate those logs, and our understanding as of today was that they were unsuccessful in getting them all.
Then we got one last one.
So we have a situation where we have 100,000 ballots to 120,000 ballots, both mail-in and USB, they're in question. Now, there's no cure for this. There's no remedy for this. As a home charter, we could have a re-election in Delaware County for our own representatives within our own town, but there is no cure for that for the President of the United States. And I don't believe, as a citizen and an observer to this, that anybody could certify that vote in any good conscience. And if the Democrats that were part of this process, were so, had done things, followed their own procedures, which they created almost unilaterally, we would be in a situation where they could exonerate themselves and they could say, Mr. Stenstrom, you've been misinformed. We have evidence here that refutes what you say. But that's not the case. They can't do that. So I say, if you can't certify that vote, and you can't certify 100,000 votes out of 300,000, then you can't certify Delaware County. And I'm done, and thank you for your time and patience.
So that guy gave the goods. That guy gave the goods and showed all of the malfeasance and all of the opaqueness of the election, how they wouldn't let him see anything that was going on, despite the fact that it was very apparent that they were doing some very, very shady things. He had a whole lot of questions that needed to be answered, and they wouldn't answer a single damn one of them because they kept him in the dark. But they didn't realize who they were fucking with, because this guy is no joke. He is a forensic analyst, and he is all about security and fraud. He knows all about that stuff. Knows all about it. But this was a huge win. And we know one of the reasons that we know that this hearing was a huge, huge deal was because Twitter went ahead and suspended Doug Mastriano, the man who organized that hearing. The Republican from Pennsylvania who organized that hearing. Twitter suspends him. Twitter suspends him because, let me read this article, then we'll get into it. I'm not going to read the whole article. Struck a nerve. Twitter suspends information warfare expert who delivered stunning testimony at the Pennsylvania Senate hearing on election irregularities. So Twitter suspended Colonel Doug Mastriano after leading the Pennsylvania Senate hearing today about election fraud. Looks like he's on to something. His testimony today was credible and stunning. Yes, it was. It revealed the widespread fraud in U.S. elections. And we can see that right there. Add Doug Mastriano, account suspended. And these people are shitting their pants. They are scared shitless. And what's so funny about what big tech is doing, trying to censor all this stuff, is that they don't realize that this is all going to be decided in the realm where they have no power. So they are only implicating themselves in the cover-up. They're implicating themselves in the cover-up, but they have no ability to actually assist the cover-up because all of this information is going to hit the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to rule. They're going to rule in Trump's favor. Trump will still be our president, and then these motherfuckers are going to have a lot to answer for and will have accomplished absolutely nothing but from keeping the public in the dark. And they think that keeping the public in the dark is going to have some effect. It doesn't fucking matter. The court of public opinion means absolutely goddamn butt fucking nothing when you talk about taking this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, they're going to take this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to see all of this information, and they're going to say, there's no way we can certify this. There's no way this can be certified. Absolutely not. And then what will Twitter have done to advance their actual agenda? Absolutely nothing. They'll have just kept everybody in the dark about what was really going on, which is, of course, then going to lead to absolute riots. Maybe that's the actual goal. Maybe their censorship is all one big sidestep for incitement of riots. Maybe that's their goal, is to keep all the Democrats, all the lefties, all the Commiecrats, and the neo-Marxists in the dark, so that when they wake up one day and find out that Donald Trump is going to be re-inaugurated in January, they're going to flip their shit because they never saw it coming. And then they're going to go absolutely berserk, think that the entire election was stolen from them, despite the fact that they're the ones who got caught trying to steal the damn election, and they are going to come out and cause violence in the street like we have never seen. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for it. But you know what? This is another thing. They overestimate their power because Twitter can ban Doug Mastriano. Great. You're not going to shut him up. He's over here on Bannon's War Room dropping fucking bombs. Listen to this. This is new and breaking.
We're getting there on that, but we need to act like...
Hold it. I think we got some breaking news here. You're saying you're going to get a joint resolution to actually go forward, and the Republicans control the House and the Senate, to go forward to basically take the power back from the Secretary of State and put it in the state legislature to put forward the electors?
That is exactly what we're going to do. And so, look, it's going to obviously be a struggle. We're going to hear the palpitations and the outcries of our Governor Wolf and Secretary Bookvar, whose resignation should have happened months ago, and she should have never been confirmed. But you know what? We have that power, and we're going to take that power back because there's so much evidence of shenanigans and fraud. We can't stand aside and just watch this unfold around us here. It's not about disenfranchising anybody. It's making sure that every legal vote counted. And if there is extensive shenanigans out there, it's up to the General Assembly to step in. So we have a fight on our hands, and we're going to fight. We're going to take the fight all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court if we have to.
They are going to take this all out of the hands of the Pennsylvania governor, Tom Wolf, and this Bookvar, Secretary of State, who helped rig this entire fucking thing. And they're going to make sure that they get to send the electors up there. They are going to screw this entire thing up for the Democrats, and it is goddamn beautiful. Goddamn beautiful. And of course, we know that Tom Wolf is dirty because we have this new news coming out from the Gateway Pundit here that Democrat Governor Wolf mandated Dominion voting systems, and it was not voted on by lawmakers. And this is exactly what they're going to be overriding here. They did all of this stuff. Wolf did all of this stuff in Pennsylvania where he just did it by mandate, decided the election by mandate, and it is supposed to be done by the lawmakers, and he superseded them outside of his constitutional authority. And they are going to strip that from him and take that back, and they're going to send their own electorates. It's looking like Pennsylvania is going to Donald Trump out fucking right. Hell yes. Hell yes. So, we have this here. GOP hearing today in Gettysburg. Okay, so we already know about the hearing. So a Pennsylvania lawmaker today testified that the legislature did not vote for Dominion voting systems. Governor Tom Wolf mandated the controversial voting systems. And so we have John Reese here says, boom, a Pennsylvania legislature says that they never voted on whether to implement Dominion voting system mandated by the governor. Do you know how much of a bombshell this is, Patriots? It means they got caught in the act. Yes, they got caught using a voting system that was designed to rig elections in Venezuela, and then he mandated that it be used, circumventing the legal process. Sounds a little shady. Why would you circumvent the legal process and mandate this corrupt voting system if you were not trying to run a rigged election? So, Kerry Kellerman says, holy crap, PA legislature says they never voted on the Dominion system. It was mandated by the governor. Jolly Roger says, dude, the PA legislature just said that the state Supreme Court does not legislate. No, they do not. The state Supreme Court does not legislate, so their last-minute laws are invalid. Invalid. Wolf mandated Dominion machines, no security at drop-off boxes. You're hosed. Yes, they are fucked. And small biz for Trump. Breaking now in Gettysburg. Cannot make this stuff up. PA legislature says that the legislature never voted on using Dominion voting machines. Tom Wolf mandated it. Pismo, 4 more years here, says Governor of PA mandated Dominion voting system and rejected barcodes in the mail-in ballots that would have proved validity. He needs to be ousted. Yes. He rejected barcodes that would have identified the ballots. So he was actively working to make sure that the election was as insecure as possible. And that's how you know that all of these motherfucking Commiecrats are as guilty as sin. Because they, every single step of the way, they have done everything that they can to obfuscate what is actually going on with this election. They have tried to deny audits. They have tried to deny people from seeing what is going on. They have done everything they can to make this election as opaque as possible. And that right there should get them disqualified. Your actions actually have consequences. And when you act in a manner that you are trying to deny anybody the ability to see what you are doing, what is going on, that means you're up to some shit. That means you're up to some shit. That means you're fucking guilty. We don't have to prove the particulars because you proved yourself that you have something to fucking hide. We all know it. We all know it by now. And, you know, it's funny because now even their own people are coming out. So, huge Sidney Powell witness, whom the NY Times described as always the smartest person in the room, concludes hundreds of thousands of votes transferred from Trump to Biden in all battleground states. We got the goods, motherfucker. We got the goods. And we got the people that even your New York Times said is always the smartest person in the room. How you going to come out and smear him now? How you going to come out and smear him now? That's going to be the fun part to watch. Get your popcorn ready, because you know that the New York Times is going to come out and they're going to run a hit piece on this guy after calling him the smartest person in the room. Always the smartest person in the room. So a cybercrimes expert, Dr. Naveed Keshavar's Nia, may be the one to save the election for President Donald Trump. Dr. Keshavar's Nia is not a stranger in the mainstream media. In fact, the New York Times published a glowing report on Dr. Naveed Keshavar's Nia. It's hard to say that name. Way back in September, writing that Naveed Keshavar's Nia Naveed Keshavar's Nia, those who worked with him said was always the smartest person in the room. In his statement to Sidney Powell, Dr. Keshavar's Nia concludes that the election data in all battleground states were altered, resulting in hundreds of thousands of Trump votes transferred to Joe Biden. So he says, I conclude with high confidence that the election 2020 data were altered in all battleground states, resulting in hundreds of thousands of votes that were cast for President Trump to be transferred to Vice President Biden. Those alterations were the result of systemic and widespread exploitable vulnerabilities in Dominion voting systems, Cytal/SOE software, and Smartmatic voting systems that enabled operators to achieve the desired results. In my view, the evidence is overwhelming and incontrovertible. Signed right there. Signed right there. They got them. They got them. They're dead to rights. They're dead to rights. So anybody who is sitting here saying that, oh, no, it's a long shot, Donald Trump should just concede, it's never going to happen. Fuck you. Get fucked. Get the fuck out of here. You are dead. You are done. You are not welcome here anymore. No black pills allowed. No black pills allowed. No doomers. We are all here on the Trump train. He is going to win this motherfucker. He is going to be our president in 4 years, for 4 more years, and hell, maybe he might get it ruled that the deep state fucked over his first presidential term so much that he gets to run a third. How brilliant would that be? Yeah. So, it's now on to SCOTUS. The serious part is moving forward. So, on to SCOTUS. Trump legal team responds to Third Circuit's opinion in Pennsylvania election case. So, the Third Circuit Court of Appeals on Monday granted an expedited review of Team Trump's appeal in Pennsylvania after an Obama judge dismissed their lawsuit seeking to block the state from certifying its election results. Trump's campaign on Friday lost its appeal in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. So, there's going to be a lot of people sitting there saying, oh no, just give it up, guys. It's over. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals denied you. Bull fucking shit. We don't care what the lower courts say. This was never a battle to be fought in the lower courts. This is just going through the goddamn motions. This is just going through the motherfucking process. We do not care what the lower courts say. This is a Supreme Court issue. And I think that this was just a way for, if the Third Circuit Court of Appeals had accepted this, you know that then all of a sudden the Democrats would start appealing. Then that would drag this whole process out. I got a feeling that the Third Circuit Court denied this just so they could kick it up to the Supreme Court, and what's ruled is what's ruled. Because you're not appealing the Supreme Court. You're not appealing the Supreme Court. So a 3-panel judge, all appointed by Republican presidents, which makes me think even more that might be the case, said that the Trump campaign's claims have no merit. Sure, they have no merit. They have obvious merit, and they know that. They know this has obvious merit. I think they were just saying, I think they were giving them their pass-go pass to head on up to the Supreme Court. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to me. The Trump campaign's senior legal advisor, Jenna Ellis, released in a statement, and she said, Rudy Giuliani and me on the Third Circuit's opinion, the activist judicial machinery in Pennsylvania continues to cover up the allegations of massive fraud. We are very thankful to have had the opportunity to present proof and the facts to the PA legislature. On to SCOTUS. On to SCOTUS. And that is all that really matters. Rudy Giuliani pointed out 2 huge gaps in Pennsylvania's mail-in ballots. You have 2 major gaps. You have the 672,770 votes that were not inspected by anyone secretly put into the ballot box. And then you have this gap that I don't understand between the mail-in ballots. you've sent out 1.8 million, and the number you've counted is 2.5 million. Yeah, that seems a little scurrilous, if you ask me. A little scurrilous. But we also have in Georgia, Lynn Wood. The 11th Circuit grants Lynn Wood's emergency motion for an expedited review of lawsuit challenging validity of Georgia election procedure. So we got the same thing going on in Pennsylvania, going on down in Georgia. And last night, the Gateway Pundit reported that Lynn Wood's case in Georgia was far from over. This morning, we reported that Wood filed an emergency motion for an expedited review of his appeal, and that was accepted. So tonight we received the news from Georgia, a happy Thanksgiving gift. Lynn Wood says, Thanksgiving Eve news, 11th Circuit granted my emergency motion for expedited review of lawsuit challenging validity of Georgia election procedure. We the people delivered a historic landslide win for @real Donald Trump and in Georgia and nationally. We believe the people... We the people will not allow it to be stolen. No, it will not be stolen. And Mark Meadows here says, more big news out of Georgia. The 11th Circuit just granted an emergency motion for expedited review on a lawsuit challenging Georgia's election certification. We'll know more about this next week, starting December 1st. Stay tuned. This is huge, huge news. It is all moving forward. It is all getting there. And, another little cathartic Thanksgiving gift was that Joe Biden had himself a little Thanksgiving address, and he only got 1,000 viewers. Only 1,000 viewers watched his live address, his Thanksgiving address live. And we're supposed to believe that this man got 80 million votes? I'd be surprised if this guy got 80,000 votes at this point. No, he definitely got more than 80,000 votes because Trump derangement syndrome is real, and there's a lot of people that went out and voted against Trump because they're absolute lunatics and are brainwashed by the media and all the Commiecrats in office and all of the cultural institutions that are basically in league with the Commiecrats teaching Marxism. And, so there are people that did vote against Donald Trump, but they don't care how ridiculous their lies appear. They really don't care. No, they don't. They think we're stupid. They think that we're stupid. They think that we're going to sit there and see Joe Biden get 1,000 views on his live stream for Thanksgiving and then believe that 80 million people were revved up and ready to go out and vote for his ass? Hell no. Hell no. That shit does not add up one bit, and we do not buy it for a rusty red penny. So Joe Biden delivered a Thanksgiving teleprompter message on Wednesday. Only 1,000 people watched his statement live. Look at that. Only 1,000 people. And, so we got Andrew at Don't Walk Run Productions. Wow, 1,000 viewers. Yeah, we're supposed to believe you got 80 million votes? Yeah, sure. And just a little addendum. The tech giants added hundreds of thousands of views to his video later to pretend that people give a damn about this senile, crooked old fool. Yeah, they had to fake it. They had to fake it. And, for all of those people who don't like Donald Trump, who are anti-establishment and don't realize that Donald Trump is anti-establishment, and you went out and voted for Joe Biden, guess what? It's about to be revealed how much you just fucked yourself. How much you just fucked your goddamn own interests. So we had this from the Daily Wire. Biden's cabinet shaping up to be the most liberal yet. Here's what we know. And I'm gonna take umbrage with the Daily Wire for saying liberal, because I don't think it's about being liberal. It's about being massive establishmentarian. That's what it is. So this week, as President Donald Trump signaled his intention of fighting election fraud in the courts while allowing the presidential transition to begin, Joe Biden began announcing his cabinet appointments for key positions within his administration. Though he promised to build back better and bring fresh ideas to the White House. Now, build back better is also the term for the globalist great reset that we've been hearing about. And I was going to report on that, but I didn't want this to get too long. I might report on that a little bit later. But also, while I'm here talking about what I'm going to report on later, let me remind you guys to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel. Honestly, it's the only way this channel can grow. I've been getting massively suppressed by YouTube. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when I put other new videos out. Also, if you would like to contribute to the channel, there are links to my Subscribestar and PayPal down in the description below. I could really use that help, little help for this channel. I do this mostly for free, but also because I did recently get a 1-week ban from YouTube. Follow me on BitChute and Rumble, and I am excited to announce that I am going to attempt my first live stream tomorrow. Now, I've never done a live stream. I'm a bit of a Luddite, so I don't really understand all the technology behind it. So it may end up being a shit show, but you can come in and make fun of me tomorrow. There's going to be a little bit more on that coming, but I am going to try my first live stream tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So let's get back here into this article. Though he promised to build back better and bring fresh ideas to the White House after his 47 years in public office, Biden's cabinet features a growing number of familiar establishment figures from the Democrat Party and the Commiecrat Party. If President Trump sought to drain the swamp with his cabinet appointees, Biden appears intent on filling it right back up. Because of course, this is Joe Biden. He is the swamp rat. He is the swamp monster. He was put up on a popsicle stick and puppeted around like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's in order to, and they rigged the primary for him just so that he could fill the deep state swamp back up. He could fill the White House back up with the deep state establishment. So according to the legacy media, Biden's choices so far have been groundbreaking and historic, which is often code for liberal or establishment, really. You know, the Daily Wire is, you know, and they don't. They're a little Republican establishment in and of themselves, so they don't necessarily call out the establishment for what it is sometimes, I think. But Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State. Blinken, a fluent French speaker who grew up in Paris, was a member of President Clinton's National Security Council and served most recently as President Obama's Deputy Secretary of State. He also spent time as Biden's foreign policy advisor when he served in the Senate. During his time in the Obama administration, Blinken was a staunch defender of the Iran deal, because of course he is, and spoke out in support of increased military presence in Syria, saying, "We made the error of doing too little in the country." So yeah, more bombs for the Middle East. That's who this guy is. Earlier, we all knew that once Biden got back in, all the bombs that stopped under President Trump were going to be coming right back. So earlier this year, Blinken found himself caught up in the Hunter Biden laptop scandal when emails from 2015 showed he had held a meeting while Blinken was showed that the two had held a meeting while Blinken was Deputy Secretary of State and Biden was at Burisma. In response, Senators Ron Washington and Chuck Grassley requested records from the State Department as part of their inquiry into Biden's dealings with Burisma. So just another dirty, dirty deep stater. John Kerry. Oh, God, I thought this guy was gone. I thought this guy was done. Perhaps best known for his failed presidential bid in 2004, John Kerry now takes over as climate envoy. Because we need a climate envoy, don't we? Kerry served as Secretary of State from 2013 to 2017 under President Obama and played an integral part in the United States participation in the Paris Climate Agreement, an agreement Biden plans to rejoining on day one, which is nothing more than a Marxist redistribution of American wealth to third world countries because they don't give one goddamn that America has been decreasing our carbon footprint while countries like India and China continue to increase theirs at record numbers. They don't care about that. No, not one bit. So Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary. Among the most well-known of Biden's appointees is Janet Yellen, who served as Federal Reserve Chair from 2014 to 2018. A familiar face in Washington politics, Yellen broke traditional Fed protocol by joining the Biden campaign as an advisor after her tenure as chair. Prior to her time at the Fed, Yellen served as chair of President Clinton's Council on Economic Advisors, as well as professor of economics at UC Berkeley. Yeah, economics at UC Berkeley. That means she's a goddamn communist. The move was praised by liberal leaders across the board, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, who called her an outstanding choice for Treasury Secretary. It's all the establishment names. Alejandro Mayorkas, Homeland Security. Another veteran of the Obama administration, Mayorkas, a Cuban immigrant who fled the country in 1960, served previously as Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security and Director of Citizenship and Immigration Services. Mayorkas played an integral role in the implementation of DACA under the Obama administration and has signaled his intention of softening the Department of Homeland Security's stance towards refugees and dreamers. Yes, that just means they're going to open the floodgates. And Biden has already talked about making 11 million illegal immigrant citizens. We all know that that's just him trying to buy the votes of 11 million people. We all know exactly what that is. So Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor. So Jake Sullivan is best known for his ties to Hillary Clinton. All of these Hillary Clinton people serving as her deputy chief of staff at the State Department and her senior policy advisor during the 2016 presidential campaign. A graduate of Yale University, Sullivan served also as President Obama's director of policy planning. All of these are just deep state. It's the Clinton-Obama team back in power. And they are going to continue to sell out America, which is why it is so important that Trump... if somehow we lose in the, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm on YouTube. But let me just say there is no way that we should accept this. There's no way that we should accept this, and we should do whatever we have to do to make sure that these people are not back in power. So Avril Haynes, Director of National Security. Haynes served most recently as President Obama's Deputy National Security Advisor. In the past, Haynes has faced criticism for her role in President Obama's secretive use of drones in the Middle East and Africa. Haynes, a former Deputy Director of the CIA, was sometimes summoned in the middle of the night to weigh in on whether a suspected terrorist could be lawfully incinerated by a drone strike, according to human rights leaders. Those drone strikes resulted in the deaths of hundreds of civilians, including women and children. Yep. So we all know that the Middle East is absolutely terrified of a Biden presidency because they're sitting here under Trump signing on to peace deals that this same establishment has told us were absolutely impossible. And now they're watching Biden gear up with all of these people who are all for all the military interventions in the Middle East. I don't think there's anybody in the world who is more pro-Donald Trump than the Middle East. Because they all know what this means. If Biden is back in power, it's going to be business as usual, which means dead bodies and guts everywhere strewn across the Middle East as they just drop bombs. There is no question about that whatsoever. Now, I just want to end with a little funny note because Alyssa Milano is attempting to make peace with Trump supporters, and it has backfired. Yeah, because Alyssa Milano can get fucked. She can get fucked with a spiked baseball bat for all I give a shit. Everything that she has said, after spending much of President Donald Trump's tenure in office arguing with and often insulting, that's putting it very, very lightly, his supporters, actress Alyssa Milano offered an olive branch to Republicans on Twitter Tuesday night, urging those who disagree with her to move forward together now that Joe Biden looks to be the next occupant of the White House. Yeah, they're only doing this because they think that their man is about to take office. I would love to see if this hashtag forward together stands once Biden's victory gets absolutely reversed. When Donald Trump is being inaugurated back in, is she still going to want this hashtag forward together? I don't think so. She has been one of the most egregious and disgusting and vocal Trump haters and Trump supporter haters out there. And now, because you've bought into this illusion that your side is winning, you want to all of a sudden make good? Get fucked, Alyssa Milano. We're never going to break bread with you motherfuckers. We are never going to break bread with any of these anti-Trumpers that have been bashing us, calling us every name in the book, calling us Nazis, calling us racist, calling us bigots, calling us fucking everything, seeking to destroy our lives, seeking to get us fired, seeking to get us canceled. No, you declared war on us, and now we are going to motherfucking bring it to you. Anyways, guys, I'm Ram Thorburn, and this has been Revved Up. As always, rev your engines, ride hard, and fight like hell.